There
Hey
is
everyone.
anyone watching. Game 2 with a co-casted this time. So hello, let's say hello to Undercant. You can
Hey everyone.
spam him, all the 5 people watching.
Glad to be here.
Now it's a bit late anyways for the game.
It is getting late.
Yep.
It took us quite a while to get started. Okay, so onto the game. It's Ty from the Poland team starting the bans, and he banned the Invoker. Apparition is banned from the Sentinel team, and then Lycanthrope. Lycanthrope was very impressive last game.
Oh yeah.
He just disappeared in the jungle and came out like doubling everyone's levels.
It wasn't. It wasn't even the jungle. It was like after you were playing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
After you lost the first tower on the top lane, he was basically just free roaming the entire map. He was farming your jungle, he was farming your creeps everywhere. And he was like, you know.
Yeah, that was kind of sad, but it's really hard to gank Lycanthrope, especially once he hits level 6.
Well, yeah, obviously. I wanted to ask, do you think that, banning Invoker, is this some habitual ban, or are there actually good players?
We don't actually know, but it's a risk. Like, he's such a versatile, such a strong hero, so in the case that there was actually a very strong player.
It's basically
and even
ban.
even if the player is not that strong, there are like you don't actually have to use all the Invoker's skills to be a respectful force. So even the very simple, Alacrity and DPS Invoker.
In a normal fight, you even can't use all the skills because you're going to focus on 2 of the invokes, and that limits your choice of spells.
I mean, the really high APM players that go Aghanim and cast 10 spells in the battle. I don't really expect something like that to happen.
Or the bastards that use some stupid programs to bind.
Yeah, that's always a problem. I mean, it's pretty much the same as a map hack, in my opinion. I mean, you use.
It's worse. I mean, you don't really need the map hack that much.
Well,
yeah, I mean, if you think about it, unless you're blind, or you always halfway know where the enemy is.
Okay, I guess you can look at it that way.
But this binding the invoker spells, that's a massive advantage.
It is
because
it's. I mean, it's not such a hard line because pretty much everyone uses like war keys and there are also kind of a hack. I mean, they're not included in the original game, but we digress.
Well, not everyone uses. I don't.
Yeah. Okay, but quite a lot. It's not looked upon as badly as the actual hacks. Back to the game. So we have Apparition, Lich, and Batrider out from the Sentinel King, and Invoker, Lycanthrope, and Weaver from the Scourge. And picks Ty starts with the Clockwork, which I expect a very impressive performance. And the response is a Windrunner and the Shaker, and then Scourge picks Venomancer and Spectra.
Do you think the Clockwork was, picked because in my eyes you sort of lacked the real initiation, even though you had Void in the first game?
We had more of a pack, I guess.
With the Blink Dagger and the ulti.
Yeah, we had good initiation. I mean, it's kind of different, right? Pack and Void are more of a passive farmer style heroes, while Clockwork is such a ganker that there aren't many gankers like him. But in general, it's mostly standard heroes for now. I mean, Sentinel is like completely standard. Windrunner, you can see her every other game.
Yep.
Earthshaker, he was here last game, right? Morphling, like the most cookie cutter carry you can think of. Clockwork and Venomancer are also standard. Spectra is a bit less often seen, but she's still very strong.
I'm starting to see Spectre more and more, even though not in the highest levels of the games, not in the finals, let's say, of like
it happens.
championships or something like that.
It happens. She's very scary when she gets her Vanguard and Radiance up.
I'm not really sure. It's either the teams are getting bored with all the standard picks, so they're
Or it
getting-
happens, but usually, you try new things out first, like casual games, like playing pubs or playing just, casual Clan Wars. And if you're actually playing in a tournament, you stick to what you know well. There are people that, experiment every game.
Yeah,
So-
I did mention this in the first game that if you're playing, an important game, you won't rely on heroes that you actually know by heart.
Mm.
That you can actually play reflexively without, thinking about, oh, which button do I press
Yeah.
now? Which skill comes
Uh-huh.
first.
It's a bit more than that. I mean, it's a question of how much of a feel you have for a hero. So
Yep.
you need to, immediately assess the situation, know whether to run, whether to fight, and that comes just with experience. And obviously, it's different for every hero.
Yeah, it's basically just, as I said, like the time spent with the hero.
Mm.
Like you can experiment with, but if you play it all together, like I played, I don't know, maybe 10 hours in my entire life with Sand King, because I don't know, I don't get that hero.
Yeah. I mean, almost every hero is different. I mean, there are some heroes that are like similar to each other. So with enough experience with one, you can play the other fairly well. Okay, we have Syllabur and Vengeful out, and Priestess of the Moon and Shadow Fiend out for Sentinel.
Do you think was the Priestess of the Moon a problem in the first game for you?
She wasn't that significant. I mean, pretty much all of it came down to the lycanthrope. We could handle. I mean, Priestess was dying immediately
Yeah.
after she was engaged. It was just the lycanthrope. The lycanthrope was just unkillable, and he was, free hitting all of our heroes. So that was a
The
problem.
weird thing is I didn't even catch when he actually picked up the BKB. It just happened somehow.
Yeah,
In a few
you know,
minutes.
they won a couple team fights, and you got a ton of gold from that. Visage is up. That's interesting. I wonder how they're gonna lane it. I mean, it seems like it's gonna be a 3 lane of Shaker, Morphling, and either Visage or Visage on a solo. But that haven't seen that in a while.
I've actually even seen how are we going to pronounce it? Visage or Visage?
I guess it's Visage
Okay,
because
let's go
it's
to the
kind of a French word.
Alright.
Yeah.
I actually even seen Visage picked up as a support hero.
Yeah,
on
it
the tri
happens,
lane,
yes.
because if you if you even if you don't have any items, you just pick up first level of soul assumptions and
Yeah, he still has impressive
yeah,
DPS.
he has a shit ton of damage. I mean, that's
The Pagna pick that Tay made just the last round will kind of hurt him.
as well as
was-
Shaker probably.
Yes, Shaker, even Windrunner, who early on tries to just stand away and spam her spells. And the last picks are Enigma and Nerubian Assassins, and will be remaking the game.
I'm pausing the stream.